All right, we are going to, I'm going to show you how to do hands. See how these are just a chunk of wood sticking out here. I'm going to do this to them. Like that. And then we'll do the bottom feet. Now on almost every species that I know of, they have 4 or 5 on the toes on the back, and they only have 4 on the front. I don't know of any animal that I know of right now. There might be a couple of mice that have 5 on the front. They all have 4. So a chipmunk has 5 on the bottom, their back feet, and 4 toes on the front. So now we're going to do the toes and show you how that's done. And it can be a pain. Just mark out little V's. There's one toe. And it's kind of hard for you to see because I've got to kind of stay out of the way of the camera at the same time as showing you how to make the toes. It's problematic. Like I said, this camera thing, it's all new to me, guys. So bear with me. Start out with big fat toes. Okay. Stretch that bottom toe out. You want it to come from the bottom to wrap around the berry. Remember, you're holding this berry. Berry's going to be right in there like that. So you want the toes spread out over top of that berry. You might be able to see this a little bit better here on this side. Take your micro saw. Oh, got the big one in. It's too big. You want to use your smaller micro saw so you don't make the big mistakes. Big saw, big mistakes. Small saw, small mistakes. Leave a lump. You can always reduce that toe. Straight up and down with your cut. Don't exaggerate it one way or the other. To the center of the berry, straight up and down, okay? So adjust your angle accordingly. Remember, your berry is right here. So that's what you're doing, is you're grabbing onto that berry with these toes. So that's what you got to keep in your brain the whole time you're doing this. You might have to change your angle on your workbench, on your angleizer. That's why you're gonna have to come up with a name for this contraption I've created. As far as I know, nobody else has this thing, so somebody will probably try and patent it. And good luck. Set your speed up a little bit more. It'll burn better. See those toes starting to appear now. I've got to go upside down here. Bear with me. Put this tool in, if you can find one out there. I made this one. It was a piece of carbide, and it kind of had some stuff happen on the end here, and I've changed it into the tool that I want it to be. I'm a tool maker, guys. That's a talent you're going to have to learn if you do this kind of work, because these tools do not exist out there. They're my tools. The tools that I've created for uses that nobody else does. You want to take the material between the toes away now. And for the time being, just leave your black line. Leave the burnt line. You're just roughing out. Take it all the way, gone. Gone. Right straight down. To the center of that berry. Now, your center is right here. Your imaginary point is right in the center of this thing. Right there. So that's where you want to take. You line it up. You take it from right here, and you bring it to there, and you run that material away right to that point. Boom, gone. Leave your little black line. Pull it on back. The toes. And right to the center. You see right there, that center. We want that angle to remain. Cut the back of that toe off. Right back to the wrist. Take a little bit away on this. See how I got my finger here? You can do that with a bunch of different your fingers. You put it into a situation where it's hung up on there, and that gives you a point that you can rock off from. So you're not out here in the air just doing this number. You put your finger up against that. Now you've got something to leverage off from. A lot of times you'll see me hook my finger underneath of a piece like that. I'll be over here. And it just gives you a leverage point that you can work off of. You clean it right to the center of that thing. Boom, flat, straight up and down. You don't have much material to work with here. So at this point, what I would suggest, just to walk away from that, you've got it roughed out. Now you take your 180 your tool, your angleizer. I come up with a good name. I don't know what to call this crazy thing. Again, I rest my finger right up against it. Now these are fragile now too, so don't go crazy. These things are sticking out here. The grain is going like this. These things can just break right off. Bam, gone. So you just got to go slow, you guys. Find your center. Here's your center. I make these tools with diamond tools. And they become really inexpensive. You find them at Harbor Freight, online. Remember your center right here. See that? Super important. Otherwise, you'll end up with no toe, or you'll wreck the toe beside it. You toeless. Then you got to add a toe on. That's really hard to do. Not impossible. All right. Now that's roughed out. Go again. The berry. You can see it here. Yeah. Okay. Now you want to start removing material inside. You want that palm. See how that's all relieved on the inside here? I'm going to push that back. Wow. Dust is getting to me this morning. to these toes. I went to a round burr, carbide round burr. And what I'm going to do, if I can stop from shaking, do a coughing dealing. Anyway, I'm going to undercut these end of these toes. Leave the very end. That's where your berry is going to be grabbing onto. You see that? So you want to leave that in. Leave the flat right now. All you're doing is doing an undercut. Very slight undercut. Show off that toenail. Like that. Stay back away from the end of that toe. Here's something that'll help. Take a magic marker and put a little bit of black right on the end of that toe. Okay, forgot about this one. Little trick. Just like that. And this isn't going to show up. It's going to be gone. It just lets you know where the end of that toe is. And undercut that. Leave that black. Just like that. You're making an illusion of a toenail. So, but you need to leave the grabby part that's holding on to the berry, intact. So you'll have a floating toe. The other one, I've got a floating toe because the end of it chipped off. You just have to deal with stuff like that. Well, you got that. Now undercut your knob of your toe. This will start forming the inside of your foot. Like that. Run down from each toe. Doing this kind of stuff is all about balancing it out. Work a little bit on one toe, move to the next one. Immediately, just keep on going. Whatever you do to one toe, you can do to another. To a degree. So they start looking like toes. And this is from the inside, which no one's really going to see. I do it anyway, because that's just what I do. I've seen artists leave things out because they didn't have to do it. But then you don't know if you can do it if you don't do it. No one's going to see the inside of these palms. They're going to be hidden. But I know they're there. I want to know how far I can take something. And so that's why I do what I do. These palms inside of here, they're pretty good. Yeah, that's what I want to end up with this one. It's far from it right now, but because you take it from here and you start pushing that berry down in, and so that takes finesse, guys. So, do a little bit more on the outside with the round burr. Yeah, it's starting to look like toes, aren't they? You can only do so much with a round burr, though. So, just do this stuff up around the knuckles and stuff. Different angles are going to show you different things. And so you can start working these toes back. You're start pushing that berry back into the palm. Keep putting your berry in there. See how you're doing. Okay. Now you can start reducing that black a little bit, pushing that toe back just a little bit. Don't worry about making it into a claw yet. I want that berry fitting back in that hand a little bit further. You got to start reducing the area between your toes as individuals. And at the same time. It kind of doesn't make sense, but don't worry about how they fit on the berry. They'll all fall into line eventually. Push them back in there further. Take in consideration what you've done before. Take and compare the two all the time. See, that berry goes back in there. His toes are too big, so you want that to be back in there a little bit further. Hold on. See that? And there's your difference. Not very much. At this point, I would suggest getting rid of the round burr. Going back to the long flame burr. What I just did is clean this tool. You can do that by jamming it into a piece of wood and back and forth and then coming out and scraping it on that wood like this. And then do that number and that'll clean your tool. It'll heat it up and it'll blow that stuff right out of the fins on this thing. If they get built up. Instead of taking the time to burn them out and all that stuff, that's how you can develop enough heat to where it'll expel the material out of the flutes on your tool, if you're using a fluted tool. Start working the shape of your wrist back into that belly material. That's CA and baking soda. CA is getting built up on this tool a little bit. If it gets built up too much, that white stuff on the end of that, that's the CA. It'll get built up on your tool. And so, to get rid of it, just use a hole like that, or run one in, and just, that number right there, see that smoke roll off in there? Now you've got a cleaned out tool. It's ready to go again. It's very quick, very easy to do. The friction built up from driving that into that piece of wood. Use a hardwood. That's Purple Heart there. The hardwood to drive it into, and it'll clean those flutes on that. And what I mean by flutes, I call them flutes. It might even might not even be the right term, but I call these flutes, these cuts in here. This is a tool that has those little tiny beads on it. You can get these from Dremel. These are awesome little tools, but this is a smooth cutting tool and a lot more accurate. You can get tools, similar to it. I think this is one I bought. You can see the little flutes on there, but I actually made this one. It's got a little bit more of an aggressive cut, and I made that from scratch by hand. You can do it with these diamond tools. You just have to take your time and work the material back into what you want it to be. It took about a year to get this thing tuned in reality, to where I'm happy with it now. Now what I'm doing is angling these back a little bit so they're not flat. I'm putting the magnifying glasses on, and so you can see what you're doing a lot better. These magnifying glasses make things change everything. Put your finger right on that back side of that so it doesn't chatter. And you got a point that you're working off from. You can feel the vibration. These are out at the end of this grain. The grain's going like this, so they can just snap right off. So you got to be really careful. Now you're starting to shape that actual toenail. Nice and slow. Make a cone out of it. Follow that cone right back, and it'll start to turn into a toe. Dive in a little bit back there. Got a hairline we're going to work in too, so you can start working that in. Just general right now. End up with a hairline like this, see? There. You wouldn't think a chipmunk would be a major carving, but these things are tough to do. There's so much you have to make look right in order for it to look like an actual chipmunk. You want about a medium speed, not too fast, so it'll start to burn, or burnish, whichever way you want to say it. Remember the center, right here. Still working that in your brain. You always keep it in your mind where you are. Adjust your angle by moving in your chair, your secretary chair. It's all about mobility and angle. Okay, I'm going to come back to this at a later time because it's getting kind of boring for you guys now. You're getting the gist of this, so it's just practice, practice, practice. We'll come back and we'll show you how to do the bottom toes and wrap this thing up. Later. Back again, and there is the fit. Real close to the same as the other one. And that's what you want. The hands are in a little bit different position, but they're different hands, so they're going to be different. You're not going to get it the same. It ain't going to happen. This one actually looks angry. I can't seem to, I got a little lip thing going right there, and his eye, he just looks angry. What I can say about that? If you look at him, he's got a nasty little guy, and it's just, he's mean. He's going to stay mean too. Okay, I'll come back after I get the toes done on the bottom here. It's the same process. You just got to go slow, and then I'll show you what this thing looks like when I'm done, because I'm getting close on these pieces, and we need to get done with this thing so I can move on. Belly hair time. I want the hair to look like this. Up the chest, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do right now. Maybe not all of it, but part of it. Got my bigger saw blade on, my bigger micro saw, Turn the speed down. Put your magnifying glasses on. I use a bigger tool because it won't stick to it as bad. Just little cuts. Get your vacuum system in there, sucking this dust and smoke away. Pretty nasty stuff, really. And just do your outline. Kind of join it into the hair that you've already done up to it. Maybe a little bit of a flare outwards, just to set them apart. And then repeat it coming back. And then go back and periodically chop that last row. Just hit it where the ridges are. Blend it back together. And then backtrack. Now you got a pattern going here. And so by bouncing it on that ridge that you've left from the previous cuts, it all just blends together, even though they're little rows. You're not a machine, so each one of these is just a little mistake, really. Nothing perfect. You can't make it perfect. Try to make it perfect, and it'll turn out okay. Because nothing in nature is perfect. You can't be perfect either. And you're an imperfect being to begin with, so how can you do anything that's perfect? Sometimes I'll lay out 3 or 4 little rows going back, and I reverse coming the other way because everything's different coming on the way back. And so you've literally broken the pattern up by doing that, and then you go back and just kind of destroy it in that same arc. You see it just starting to blend together and flow and look like real hair. Don't go down very deep. Try and keep your cuts consistent. You'll feel it with practice. See that smoke and dust coming off in there? You need to suck that stuff away right off the bat. A mask won't stop it neither. Might stop some of the particulates, but the fumes will go right through it. So you need to suck that stuff away. Some of it you're not going to be able to get with a big tool. You're going to have to go down to a smaller tool. But you can get a lot of it. You just work your angle. Get inside there. You're only going to be able to do 1/2 at a time, because you got to go 180 degrees out to do the other side. Remember, these toes are really fragile too. So you've got to be careful not to knock them off or grind into them. Be very aware of where you're at. Work that angle out. See how I'm taking the boom, boom. And each time I go in, it's a new angle. Every one of them is just a slight change from center. There's your center cut. And then the next cut is a little off, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, until you match up with that outside. Okay. Some of it you're just only going to be able to fudge it in there because you're coming up to the hand, you're running out of space, and so you're just going to have to let it be. Destroy every area, don't leave any flats. Okay, before you change your angle to do the other side, take your brush and get in there and be careful. You got stuff that can break off. And just scrub that. Use a stainless steel brush, or the color of the brass will go off into that white. And it'll leave a stain. Just be careful not to knock any toes off. Parts of it you're not going to be able to get to. So, what I do then is I gently get in there and just scrape around a little bit and knock those little particles away. Oop, hit that camera. All right. Now I'm going to go 180 out and finish the other side, and then finish out the rest of the hairs on this thing, because I got to get the fingers and do the rest of the detail. Then I'm going to show you how to torch this thing and make it look like the other one. This one has got torchings on it that really add to the animal and blend the animal in. Let's see, torchings. And I'll show you how to do that. That'll be the last thing. Then I'm going to put this thing together. And then I've got the whiskers. I'll have to do the whiskers. I'll show you how to do that as well. So quite the process. So I'll be back. Bye. Back again. It's completed, except for putting the whisker spots in. I'll show you how to do that too. But right now I'm going to show you how to do some shadowing with a torch. Like I've done here and here. Actual chipmunk, it's got shadowing on its forehead. And we're going to do that with a torch. A little micro torch like this. You can buy them just about anywhere now. Really cool, guys. And you want to do what you did on the previous one. So have it right in your hand so you can see what's going on. So just a little bit around the rump here. Keep it moving, and then stop and look at it. A bit more right there. And there it is. Here's that. All right, here we go like this and down. A little bit more. See that? Now you're going to wire brush it, so part of that's going to come off. You just want to glaze over the toes. Just boom like that. Just really hit them real quick. Same with the hands. Just a little tiny bit of black on them. Under the eye, like that. There we go. That's pretty good. Under the eye over here. There it is. Oh, here we go. See, right here. Like that. The rump. Up here. There we go. Up into that tail a little bit. Like that. A little bit above on the head. Right up here. There we go. See that? Boom, boom. A little more right there in the head. There, yeah. Glaze over the ears a little bit. That'll help. Just, there, like that. Well, we've got the forehead and the nose. Nose and nose. Okay. And forehead, right? A little bit in the ears. There we go. Like that. Pretty close. I take a little wire brush and just gently scruff that back a little bit. Go with the grain that you've of the hair that you've laid down. See, that pulled that back a little bit, didn't it? So knock a little bit of the char off and kind of blend it in a little bit. That's wood burning sculpture, dudes. Feet a little bit more. There it is. And there we go. Okay, I'll come back and show you how to do the whiskers. That's another. All right. Show you how I do the whiskers. This is on full blast. It's about 900 degrees, and it comes down to a pinpoint. And so what I do at this point is I start out here by the nose, and I burn a dot, burn a hole, pinpoint where I want these whiskers to go. Usually about 3 on the top, and then go in between and a half arc coming down. There's 4. We're going to put, see how they're in between top and bottom are even, but then they're split, and that'll break it up for you. And so just going to do a pattern of 4 or 3, 4, and 3. And then you go 180 degrees out. Like that. See it right there. And you do the same thing. And 1, 2, 3. Oops. And then 2. A little bit at the angle of inception that you want the whiskers to come out as well. And 4. And 1, 2, 3. It keeps it simple. They also, I'm not sure if they've got eyebrow whiskers or not. I don't think they do. A lot of animals will have an eyebrow whisker, and it'll come out right here at the corner of the eye, but chipmunks do not, apparently. So that's how that's done. And then you take an arbor like this with a needle in it. And now this is after you finish it. You have to wait. Put this thing over, like, there we go. Where are we at? Lost our location. Sorry about that. You have to wait until after the finish is on here, because it'll fill your hole in. After it's finished, wait about 2 days, and then you take your arbor and you bore with a needle. You bore a hole in at the inception that you want those whiskers to come out at. You go down in there about 1/8 of an inch or so. And I'll show you how to do that after this is ready for the whiskers. But this is what I use. It's an arbor with a sewing needle in it for a drill bit. Anyway, I'll show you that later, and we will come back to that, and that'll be the end of this project in a couple of days. So that's all for now. Have a good one. Take it easy. All right. Here we are, close to the end of another project. I'm going to show you how to do whiskers today. And here are these are porcupine hairs, the guard hairs between the quills. And they come in many different colors and lengths and thicknesses, and these are and they can be like 7, 8 inches long. If you can find them on the internet and you get them that way, you can get them from roadkill, and you have to make some buzzard noises when you're pulling them out, but don't try to take them out of a live porcupine. They don't care for that, and they will nail you. Anyway, got a needle and an arbor here. Okay, and we've got our spots in here. I showed you how I did that before. The little needle pokes, pinpoints. We'll start out at the angle of inception that you want that whisker to come out at. And so, want it like that. Run that baby right in there, about 1/8 of an inch or a little bit better. And then change your angle just slightly. A little bit further. And slightly more. Now you come back up here. And what you can do is pick up your old angle and adjust it. And then a little bit different. A little bit different. A little bit more. And I'm changing my angle of inception all the time. So you can find your old one, but by going in there and feeling that hole, drop down, change your angle a little bit coming down, about 1/8 of an inch or more, change again, and change again. Okay. Well, here's where it gets tricky. You got to go 180 degrees out. Showed you how to do that before. Let's see where we're at here. I'm going to have to line this camera up again. Oh, it's not bad. A little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty good. You got to find the right whisker width. Count how many whiskers you've got. You got 3 on the top, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 10 whiskers there that you've got to go for. Take your whiskers in your hand, this, and you just let them fall so the ends of your whiskers here are all the same length. If one falls away, just put it off to the side. Okay, so all of your whiskers here are pretty close to the same length. And grab them by the end, like that, just like that. Look at it a little bit, that, and it can be pulled down a little bit. You want to try and get them the same length. Okay, go back a little bit. There we go. That's better. So you take it. Take your scissors and you put these up here. And you put them on there like that. And you kind of guess how long you want these whiskers to be. And take your whiskers and get a hold of one. Just one. You get it sticking out there about a 1/2 inch or so. And you take and just get just a little tiny bit of glue on the end of it. About that much. And you jam it in there. Nice and gentle. You want your curve coming back and down. These will all have kind of a natural curve to them. I just use regular, you can use regular Elmer's glue. I use Tight Bond 3 because it's external. It's just a higher grade of glue. You don't need a whole lot on the end of that. Somebody inquiring about the laundry next door. Yeah, just that little bit of glue. And you don't need any more than that. Now, the ones up front are going to be a little bit shorter. So you get your long ones in there. That's right there. I'm using the whiter ones. The whiter ones show up good. Black ones do not. You kind of pick and choose your whiskers. Pick the best ones out of the pack that you can. If they're crinkled or whatever, don't use them. Just use the good ones. Don't cut the whiskers off your cat or your dog. They don't appreciate it. I've only got 4 left here to go. So I'm going to save the rest of these. You just take your scissors, whack about a 1/2 inch off of these. And that'll shorten them up to the point where they'll blend in with the piece better. There's some steady hands. That last one you can make even shorter. Take another 1/4 inch off from it. It'll look better if you go long to short with that last one. Okay, that's that side. Can kind of train them a little bit. All right, now we got to go to the other side. So I got to go 180 out. And that's how you do whiskers. I'm going to finish the other one up. Let me see that. And then put this whole thing together. Take a final photo. And then I'm going to start on a monkey. Later. Okay. There it is, finished. Until next time. Later.